Okay.
I'm going to start out. I'll put a copy of the PDF of the hands that we selected for lesson hands. Um, I just put it into chat. I'll do it again at the end of this lecture as well. If you have any questions aside from the ones that I'm going to cover, which are boards 1, 5, 9, and 10, if you don't mind, we'll wait till I'm done through the prepared hands, and then I'm happy to go over any other hands that you'd like to go over. We'll do that. But for now, let's go through the hands that we preset for you. So the topic for this week was leading against suit contracts. Leading against suit contracts, of course, most of the lessons that we have to deal with are going to be how to handle the trumps that you have on defense. First question is, when is it? The hand number one is one where the auction goes south will open, should open one spade. They're not, even though there aren't very many losers, it's nowhere near good enough to open two clubs. That'll one spade will silence west. North has to respond, but they can't raise spades and they can't not strong enough to make a 2/1 response. So one no trump is what's left. Oh, hang on, sorry, I did this. I got them back to front. Let me do that. Pass, pass. That makes more sense. Pass. One no trump. Pass. And South now has enough that they probably want to get to game opposite the 6 points that partner's shown. Um, two hearts is not forcing, so they have to bid three hearts. That, sorry, I thought I'd hit there. Pass. Three hearts. That's natural in game forcing. It shows five spades. It only promises four hearts. So when North two bids three no trump, because they have stoppers in both clubs and diamonds, um, South should bid four hearts, insist on playing one of their two suits. And that should end the auction. So what does West know about, um, based on what the opponents have told them by their auction? He knows that South is 5-5, maybe even better, and that North doesn't have three spades because they would have bid spades earlier. So if North is going to be roughing spades, this is a good time when you want to lead trumps. If Declare has shown a two-suited hand and the other hand has shown a preference to the second suit, they're going to be short in the first one. So they will be looking to rough, undoubtedly be looking to rough the way the spades as a way of taking tricks. So it's suggested on this auction that you lead the two of hearts. Let's see how this works if you do lead a trump. If you do, by the way, if you are going to lead trumps, it's not usually a good idea to start out with the ace. Sometimes it's the right thing, but it gives Declare the control of the hand. Whereas if you lead a low one, now the ace of you have the ace of trumps, so if something is necessary on defense, you still have some level of control. But on the heart lead, 6, 8, queen, the declarer will cross to it, has to try to set up spades. And they should try crossing to dummy to take a spade finesse. Does I'd suggest the queen, because if the queen wins, you can start going on roughing. If it loses, now now West can clear trumps. Be a nice idea to play the king of diamonds here so the partner knows what's going on there. Now you can sort of see Declare is stuck. I was going to use a different word, but Declare has no way of making it at this point. They're going to lose two. They've lost two tricks. They can't rough spades anymore, and they're going to lose two more spade tricks. So this will lead to down one. So let's see why the trump lead was a good idea, so you can see what should have happened on a different lead. If I wasn't going to lead a trump, I'd lead one of the unbid suits. My clubs are a little better than my diamonds. So if I wasn't going to lead a trump on this auction, I'd lead the 10 of clubs. Now, you can see Declare wins the ace. and they play a spade. Now we forlornly we can even try shifting to the ace of trumps. Actually, let's not do that. Let's just continue clubs. And we win the king, and we play a spade. Now because we haven't cleared dummy's trumps, they can ruff one of the spades. And that's all they need. Now declare will just lose the ace of hearts and the jack of spades, and they'll make four. So this is when we suggest leading a trump. A trump is a very passive lead. It gives control of the play over to the other side. But if you're pretty sure that declare is going to be roughing with the short trump hand, and that's usually on an auction where declare shows two suits and their partner prefers the second suit, um, then it's a good idea to lead trumps to cut down on those roughs. This hand, it's 100% necessary um, to lead trumps. It's the only way you're going to beat this. Hopefully, you got to four hearts. If you were playing north south, 3-no trump is not going to make. You've got four hearts, two aces, and the ace king of clubs, so it's eight tricks, but it shouldn't make 3-no trump. You just don't have enough time to set up your long spades. And so that's when you lead trumps. Against a two-suiter, it's a good idea to lead trumps if you've got good control of the declarer's first bid suit, the one that they haven't found the fit in. All right. So that was that one. And the next one was board number 5. Okay. So the other one topic that is going to come up when people talk about leading against suits, they do go into leading one side suit versus an honor, leading an honor versus a low card. But the two big things are leading trumps or don't lead trumps. That's one, and the other is singletons are attractive leads against suit contracts. There's times when they aren't. One of the board number 10 is an example where I think a trump lead is wrong. But this one, if the auction goes this way, and they very well might go differently, but North should open a spade, and East has a very classic takeout double. Um, South here should bid four spades. That's not a strong bid. That's five trumps, usually some shortness somewhere, and about 4 to 9 points. It's mostly based on the fact that they know they have 10 trumps between the two hands, at least 10 trumps. It chews up a lot of the opposition bidding. It applies that the raise to four here is a weak bid, not a opening bid hand. If you had a hand that was wanted to get to four spades but on power, do something to show some power. Start with redouble. If you've got some kind of conventional raise in spades, that's great. Use that. Lots of people play 2-no trump after a double as a conventional good raise in spades, like a limit raise or better. It's called Jordan or Truscott or Robinson. Uh, that's a good and fairly popular convention and fairly easy. But if you do have the flat 13 count with three spades, you have to do something other than bid four spades just in case partner needs to make a decision later on. You want to tell them what they have. That's pretty standard. So over four spades, West has a very good playing hand. Their partner's shown some support of hearts, and they have six of them. They also have a singleton spade where partners going to be short in spades. They probably have one or two, very occasionally three. But you don't have you've got some defense, but the opponents have a lot of tricks, and especially with at this vulnerability, if they're going to make four spades, five hearts is going to show a profit if it's down three doubled. It'll be minus 500 against 620. So five hearts is very attractive at this vulnerability. If it's not going to be making, it's probably going to be a good sacrifice against their making four spades. So we suggest here that Wisp bids five hearts. They don't know whether they're bidding it to make or bidding it as a sacrifice, but They don't want to have the opponents have a nice, easy four spade bid. Over that, North is close to bidding five spades. It's not that bad a bid, but at this vulnerability, if it gets doubled and goes down two, that's going to be minus 500. They've got an extra spade, but aside from that, it's not really good enough to bid five spades. If they do bid five spades, it's probably going to go down one. The defense would have to get a club ruff to take four tricks on defense. That's very, very unlikely they're going to do that. So five spade, but they are going to take the ace king of clubs and the ace of diamonds, and they'll beat it one. But let's say North pass. South has expressed what they have when they bid four spades. It's you if you want to do it, you can, but it's breaking discipline to bid four spades and then bid five spades when partner had a chance to bid five spades. You've said what you have. Yes, you have a singleton heart, but that's not a good enough reason to bid five spades on these auctions. When you bid four spades, you've let your partner become the captain. It's your partner's choice to decide what to do. So a disciplined bid here is just to say pass. So let's defend against five spades, five hearts anyway. What should North lead? Well, the 2-second answer is let's lead the king of spades. It's our bid and raise suit. But we control the trumps, and we'd like to get a ruff. We can get a ruff in diamonds. The danger of leading the king of spades before shifting to a diamond is we might want to use spades as the way we can get back and forth on defense, like on this hand. So if we lead the two of diamonds here, um, it saves declarer guessing something in diamonds, but they were probably going to get that right. So diamond to the jack and king. Now declarer wants to draw trumps. They should know when they bid and raise spades and then they'd led something else. That's probably a singleton. Both South and West should know that the diamond lead was a singleton. Otherwise, North would have just led a spade. So they could try leading the Jack of Hearts here, faking that faking that I'm missing the queen and hope maybe North might duck this, hoping that their partner will win the Queen of Hearts. North shouldn't fall for this, but if they do, now Declare is going to just lose a spade and a heart and make five. But because they have the ace of trumps, the winning defense, and this shouldn't be too tough, is you win the ace of hearts, you shift to a spade. The textbook plays the king, so I'm going to go with that. But South should recognize, hey, my partner led the diamond. That's a singleton. Let's overtake that and give my partner a diamond ruff. And that beats five hearts one trick. North could help them out by pretending they didn't have the king of spades. If they lead, sorry, if they lead the queen of spades, partner will think that Declare has the king, but that's okay. The big thing is you're forcing your partner to win the ace. This is an acceptable lie, but South should win the ace of spades anyway, even if North led the king. So this is one of the main assets for defense when they're defending against suit contracts is the ability to lead short suits and get ruffs. Leading a doubleton sometimes works, but it's got to be a pretty big parlay. You have to be able to get in and get the ruffs, and you can't do it right away. Either partner has to control the second round of the suit, or you get in a couple of times. Doubletons aren't suggested against as leads, but singletons are suggested, especially when you have the ace or king third of trumps. You're going to get in with a trump, and then you be able to guide the defense. Um, that's useful when you're going to lead a singleton. It's not a good lead if you're going to be roughing with natural trump tricks. I'll get into that with hand 10. But this is the one where it's a tough competitive judgment situation. On this hand, the limit is ostensibly four spades for north, well, four spades for north south, barring a completely double dummy defense, and four hearts for east west. So pushing to five hearts was definitely the right thing to do. Um, Suggests not bidding five spades, but if you are going to defend against five hearts, lead the singleton to try and get the three tricks on defense. All right, so that was that one. Okay, and the next one was number 9. Sorry, is that? There we go. One more. All right. So this is another fat idea when you're leading against suit contracts. You have to decide whether you're going to want to make a completely passive defense, lead something that you know is going to be safe, and try and make the declarer do most of the work. Or are you going to have an active defense, one where you're trying to take your tricks as quickly as possible, set up your tricks as quickly as possible before a declarer does something like runs a side suit or something like that. You sort of learn over time whether the auction suggests making an aggressive lead or making a passive lead. On this auction that we're suggesting, which will be one heart, pass, if you play 2/1, the auction is going to go a little differently, but let's presume that we're just playing standard American right now. This is two club bid shows 10 or more points, six clubs. You might have hard prime three card hard support as well, but start out with bidding two clubs to let at least let your partner know you've got a club suit and 10 plus points. West has the other two suits, but this isn't an auction you want to get in on. You're just going to tell the other side where all the points are and what the shape is. So two clubs pass. Nor could just bid two hearts here. If you did bid something a little stronger, like three hearts, that'd be okay. But in standard American, two clubs promised another bid. Nowadays, definitely. So you can bid two hearts and wait to hear what partner does. You show your sixth heart, and then you can always bid again later. If you bid three hearts with North, that's okay. Either way, South should be bidding three hearts. If North bid three hearts, they raise to four. But now South has two hearts. Their partner showed six because they rebid hearts. We've got an 8 card heart. Let's let partner know about that. And North has some extra values, so they bid four hearts. So this is one where East has to decide whether to make an aggressive lead, a spade or a diamond, or a passive lead, which would be a club or a heart. Because they bid two clubs on your left and you're looking at three small clubs, there's a good chance that declare will be, if not cashing the suit right away, setting it up really quickly, and they'll be able to get a lot of pitches on Dummy's club suit. So this is one that you want to lead aggressively. Even though you're going to make an aggressive lead, we still don't like leading unsupported aces. So if you had the ace of diamonds instead of the king, I'd be forced to lead one of the aces. But here, leading away from a king is better than leading an unsupported ace. So we lead the two of diamonds, fourth best, once we've decided to lead a diamond. And West wins the ace. And now West has to do some thinking. If they just return partner suit, that's a good guideline to go by, and it doesn't work on this hand. But if I played with a partner who just blindly returned my suit every time I led them, I'd be a happy man. I'd sacrifice the chances when it's not. Hang on, sorry. Uh, but on this hand, West can be thinking the same thing that East was on opening lead. As soon as Declara gets in, they're probably going to be able to run this club suit. They don't know that Declara has the king of clubs, But if partner had the king of clubs, the finesse is on side as well. So they want to get aggressive. They know they're not going to take a club trick. They're probably not going to take a heart trick. Partner might have the queen. But if you're going to take four tricks, it's going to be two diamonds at most, and two spades. So if you're trying to beat the contract, switching to the queen of spades will um, do what it's supposed to do. Go leading through the king, even though you can't tell whether it's the ace of spades or who has the ace of spades, who has the king of spades. The queen of spades will trap the king. That's going to be the way to defeat four hearts. North might as well cover. Um, Not 100% clear what to do here. Let's try playing back. Let's cast the king of diamonds. That'd only be wrong if Declare had a singleton, which is pretty unlikely. And now that diamonds are taken care of, we can cash our spade. We'll try to cash a third spade, but it won't work. And that'll be down one. Okay. So that was the main point on this. Against suit contracts, you have to decide whether you're going to be make an aggressive lead, try to set up your tricks, or you're going to make a passive lead, um, and let Declare do the work. If you think that they've got a side suit in dummy that'll provide a lot of pitches, you want to start leading aggressively, lead away from kings, lead from somewhat unattractive holdings in unbid suits. You still want to try to avoid leading unsupported aces. You can see on this hand, the ace of spades would just set up the king into Clara's hand. That's not too surprising. But once you decide to lead aggressively, do that. And West has to make a judgment call and sort of make an educated guess that the best way to beat this is to return the queen of spades. That works out very well on this hand. If North South bid four hearts and East West managed to defeat it on their own power, um, well done. It's not not an easy defense. But if East led a passive card, a heart or a club, Declare could run six hearts and run six clubs right away and make six. So this is an acquired skill, but against suit contracts, there are lots of times you want to lead fairly aggressively. This is one of them. Okay, so let's go on to our last prepared hand, and then I'm happy to go over any other ones. This was a competitive hand, some judgment involved, so the auction might have gone differently at many tables, but this was the auction that I suggested, and we'll see how people did. The easy part is East opens a heart. South has a nice normal one spade call. West has 8 points. You can't really count the queen of clubs at full value and count for the Doubleton club. So it's just 8 points. But it's still 8 points. So we raised two hearts. North has three spades. Singleton heart is nice. But it's still 6 points. So for the same reason, it's two spades. East can now start evaluating a little bit. They have 16 high card points. I would not consider the Jack of Spades as a point, but I would consider the fact that you have a singleton spade. That's worth 2 or 3 points. So I think the East hand evaluates into about 17 or 18 points, and your partner, West, has shown about 6 to 9. If you bid three hearts here, that's not an invitational bid. If it's sorry, if North had passed and we bid three hearts, well, we didn't have to bid here. So that should be an invitational bid. But when North does bid two spades, now there are hands where we just want to stop them playing two spades. We need to compete in hearts. So three hearts isn't is trying to sign off in hearts. It's not in partner isn't invited to bid four. So given that three hearts isn't invitational, what do we do with a hand that is invitational? Well, we have to bid three of another suit. that's below three of our agreed suit. So three clubs or three diamonds would both be invitate. I'm trying for game. You try and make the most natural bid you can here. So I'd suggest three diamonds. Um, that says I'm interested in game. I've got some stuff in diamonds. If your maximum, go on. South should pass. Um, West should now bid four hearts because they have a maximum. They've also got the ace of diamonds as a fit, as a nice card. So this is the auction that I suggested and that I put in the write-up. The auction might have gone differently at different tables, but I think that most people will, well, a lot of people will be playing hearts at either the 3 or 4 level, east-west. On this auction, it's very tempting to lead a singleton diamond. Here's why I'm suggesting it's a bad idea. You have the ace 10 9 X of trumps. These are essentially going to be taking trump tricks on power. Your partner gives you, when the heart holding is as it is on this actual hand, which isn't that much of a surprise, if you get a ruff, that's the ruff, and you're still going to get the ace of hearts, but now the king, queen, jack can swallow up your other two hearts. You're going to be roughing with a natural trump trick. That's not something you want to do. When you're defending against suit contracts and you have four trumps, it's frequently a nice idea to try and tap declare, try and force them with their five trumps to ruff a couple of times so that you have more trumps than they do. The other disadvantage of leading a singleton is it does um, make it easier for a declarer to play a suit when the opponents have led them rather than you've led them. On this hand, if you just look at the diamond suit by itself, on this diamond lead, now if they play the queen, they've got the ace, king, and jack and 10. Even if they play the nine or a low one, they play the nine, declare should be reading. If you've been raised one suit and they lead another, it's probably a singleton. So I'm not going to go into the rest of the trump suit, but they can play a diamond to the ace and then finesse against the queen. The diamond lead has ruined partners holding in the suit. So because you have four trumps, because you don't really want a ruff, your trump suit is taking tricks on power, and your partner's raised your suit, so you know it's a good idea. For all of those reasons, this is a hand where I would not lead a singleton diamond. I think we want to lead the suit that we've bid and raised, and hopefully we'll be able to force declare. So on the king of spades lead, that's fine. Um, Now we know from trick one partner has the ace. We know that they've raised, so they almost certainly have three. We want to make sure that we don't let the 10 of spades become an asset here. I'd suggest making it a little bit easier for partner and play the 9 of spades. Um, that way they won't. They should be able to put the 7 in if you played the 2 and declare played low, but the 9 of spades makes it easier for them. Now they rough. And it's not clear how they're going to do this, but say they play a couple of rounds of trumps. Now we play another spade, and you can sort of see declare. We force declarer to ruff with the long trump hand, and usually that's a break-even situation between the declarer and the defense. But in a situation where one defender has four trumps, now we have one more trump than declarer. Well, that's great. Now we can do a lot of damage in dime with this. If Declare draws another trump, we're eventually going to get in and cash our spades. Declare might be to do something differently, but Declare is almost certainly going to be going down one after this start. A diamond lead would let them make four. You're going to get your two trump tricks, either on power or, sorry, I'll go back to the full hand. So. roll back. There we go. So if we lead a diamonds, we can do something similar to board 5, I think was the other one where we suggested leading a singleton. Yeah, that was board 5. So we could suggest doing something similar where we get our partner in and we do get our ruff, but that's with a trump trick that we were going to get anyway. We sort of know that just looking at our holding to start with. So if you're going to be ruffing with natural trump tricks, or if you're going to be giving seeding CED, if you're going to be conceding the control of the trump suit over to declare, that's when you don't want to lead a singleton. Even if you can get partner in, you're going to be ruffing with your trump trick. That's usually not that good an idea. So those were the ideas we had for suggested leading against suit contracts. Um, it's sort of weird to say lead a singleton when it's right and don't lead a singleton when it's wrong. But hopefully we've provided some examples of these are guidelines when it's good idea to lead a singleton. And it's usually a good idea, but there are times where we strongly suggest it's not a good idea to lead a singleton. And you should be looking out for those signs for whether to lead a singleton or not. Trump leads are very passive. That's giving control of the hand over to declare. It's frequently right when you're trying to cut down a ruffs with the hand that's short in trumps. Usually, if you're forcing the hand that's long in trumps, if your roughs by them aren't going to be that important, you most of the time. But trump leads can be devastating if you're preventing roughs with the shorthand. The auction might help you with that. And you've got to sort of begin to learn when auctions are let's lead something aggressive or let's lead something passive. I will put the hands into the chat again, but that was the ones that we had prepared for this. If there are any other hands that anybody would like to go over, I'm happy to try and discuss them. I haven't seen them before now, but I'm happy to go over any other hands you'd like to go over. Just put a message into chat, or you can speak up at this point, and I'd be happy to go over any hands. Okay then. Well, I guess that was it. Thank you very much for attending the lecture. I hope you're enjoying these, and if you have any suggestions, please let us know. I've had a couple of suggestions given to me, and I've tried to accept those. The topic for Thursday, this one was leads against suit contracts. Thursday is going to be leading against no trump contracts. So different things to think about. And we'll be happy to go over those on Thursday. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed it and yourself a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop that one.